British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Welcome into BCIT News. I'm your host, Caleb Bassey Templeton, and here are your 3:30 news and sports headlines. We start off in news as a Vancouver doctor has been charged with sexual assault according to police. The Vancouver Police Department say a 65-year-old doctor was charged with sexually assaulting two teenage patients. The investigation began in March 2023 after a 17-year-old girl was reportedly assaulted by a doctor in a clinic in Chinatown over several years, according to the VPD. Investigators gathered evidence and submitted their case to the BC Prosecution Service, which approved charges against Herman Hao Man Lee on November 28th. Lee is facing 2 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of sexual interference, and 1 count of sexual exploitation. A teenager was seriously injured in a stabbing incident which occurred after a high school basketball game, according to police. The incident occurred on Vancouver's west side on Monday, shortly after 9 p.m. at Eric Hamber Secondary School. After a senior boys basketball game between Eric Hamber and Killarney Secondary in a game that went into triple overtime. The VPD released a statement saying the incident was between 2 spectators, resulting in an 18-year-old boy getting stabbed. No arrests have been made, according to the VPD. North Vancouver police are seeking public assistance to locate missing person Si Tish Ho. Ho was last seen on January 22nd at around 4 p.m. in the 100 block of Mountain Highway in North Vancouver. He has not been seen or heard from since. Police say Ho is described as a 38-year-old Asian male, last seen wearing a black sweater with steel-toe boots. Anyone who believes they have seen Ho are asked to call the North Vancouver RCMP at 604-985-1311. BC's pilot program decriminalizing small amount drug possession has come to an end. Our reporter Arden McLeod has the exclusive.
As of January 31st, possession of up to 2.5 grams of certain illegal drugs, including heroin and fentanyl, can again result in criminal charges. For the past 3 years, adults could possess small amounts without facing criminal penalties under the province's exemption. UBC Public Health Professor Eugenia Ovidio-Yoquez says she worries that ending the pilot may mean systemically treating people who use drugs as criminals, rather than as people who need a range of supports and treatment options. Arden McLeod, BCIT News.
Drones have taken flight for the New Westminster Police Department as officers begin operating the drones during their investigation. As our very own Braden Coombs reports, the department is bringing the operating machines to the streets.
The New Westminster Police Department drone program is now underway, as drone-certified officers welcome the investigation tool. Police say they plan to use them in an effort to improve safety, assess insecure areas, and aid police officers. The police training phase is now complete, and drones will soon begin hitting the streets, with the first deployment already happening. NWPD says their drones will be used to search for missing people, and it may be used for major events for emergencies to keep the public safe. New Westminster now joins the Vancouver Police, who introduced the new program at this time last year. Braden Coombs, BCIT News.
The provincial government is working on a deal to keep the Whitecaps in Vancouver. The Vancouver Whitecaps have been clear that without a dedicated stadium, the club is not confident the team can stay in Vancouver with no help from the province, according to team executive Axel Schuster. Ravi Kalan, BC's Minister of Jobs and Economic Growth, said that they plan on working with the Whitecaps by giving them back all profits they make from games, which roughly amounts to $1.5 million. They also stated that they plan on working with the club to try and get them more money from food and beverage sales on game days in order to keep the team in Vancouver, according to Kalan. At this time, the Whitecaps have not responded to Kalan's offer. A new map from the Transit app shows which bus stops are missing places to sit. Now Movement YVR is asking local municipalities to stand up for bus riders and install more stop benches. Reporter Graciela Cruz Flores has the story.
Data scientists are working with Movement YVR, a nonprofit which advocates for the region's 1 million transit users, found that at least 1/3 of the busiest pickup points lack benches. This means 1,240 bus stops have no seating. The transit app, which offers real-time updates and navigation for people without vehicles, partnered with the nonprofit to encourage municipal action. While TransLink handles signage in most shelters, Movement YVR is also pushing them to invest more in shelters with seating. Graciela Cruz Flores, BCIT News.
Vancouver Maritime Museum is offering a new pay-what-you-can admission program. Our reporter Jeannie Lynn has more on how it will make museums more accessible to Vancouver locals.
On the first Sunday of each month, Vancouver Maritime Museum is offering Pay What You Can Day of Admission. Visitors can pay any amount they wish, but suggested donation is between $5 to $20. The ticket also allows access into the Museum of Vancouver and the H.R. MacMillan Space Center. Director of Programming Michael Unger talks about the importance of providing easier museum access for the community.
These are where art galleries and museums and space centers and science centers really kind of like sort of fill this niche for us as a society, to inspire us and to help us think about the world in a different way.
Tickets can be booked online or at the door on a first-come, first-served basis. The museums are open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Jeannie Lynn, BCIT News.
There is a new museum in Vancouver. This unique experience is a collection of publicly submitted failed work. Our reporter Clara Lonto tells us why other people's shortcomings are bringing the community together.
The Museum of Personal Failure encouraged people to be comfortable in their imperfection. Director of Operations Jesse Scott said that the museum can attract 400 visitors in a day. Scott explains why the exhibition is popular in the community.
The idea of failure game was kind of share human experience, going out and trying something, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but it's really just the process of growing and developing was the first.
Due to the popularity, the museum will be extended to February 9th. Clara Lonto, BCIT News.
Now we move to sports as there are 7 games being played in the NHL tonight. 3 Canadian teams will be in action, including the Ottawa Senators visiting the Carolina Hurricanes at 4 p.m., and the Toronto Maple Leafs concluding their Pacific Division road trip in Edmonton as they take on the Oilers at 5:30 p.m. The Anaheim Ducks will host an in-division team with the Seattle Kraken at 7 p.m. to conclude the night. In the NBA, there are 10 NBA games on the slate tonight. Some of the games include the Los Angeles Lakers playing in New York against the Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks on the road against the Washington Wizards. 2025 NBA MVP and Canadian point guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder will host the Orlando Magic as they look to continue their great season, having a league-best record of 39-11. We move to local sports as the Vancouver Bandits have announced the re-signing of one of their most impactful players from last season. Reporter Elijah Ford got insight from the team on the latest big news for Vancouver's biggest basketball team.
The reigning Canadian Player of the Year in the Canadian Elite Basketball League, Tyrese Samuel, has re-signed with the Bandits for a second straight season with the club. Samuel was a key contributor to the Bandits last year, finishing top 3 on the team in both points and rebounds, while leading the league in field goal percentage. The 6'10", 25-year-old has represented Canada internationally on 2 separate occasions. Bandits assistant general manager Matthew Barge says getting Samuel back was a primary objective for the team this offseason.
He came in, worked really hard, felt like he got better, through our development. Yeah, I mean, we knew like right away we wanted to bring them back after last year.
The Bandits season starts on May 14th, while their home opener is scheduled for May 22nd. Elijah Ford, BCIT News.
The Canadian national men's team has made a change surrounding its roster at the Olympics. Stanley Cup and Conn Smythe winning forward Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers will be replacing Tampa Bay Lightning forward Anthony Cirelli. The news comes 2 days after Cirelli suffered an injury in the Winter Classic on Sunday against the Boston Bruins. Bennett has a history with the Canadian team, winning a championship with his country at the 2025 Four Nations last February. Team Canada's first game is on February 12th against Czechia. Bell Let's Talk recently put mental health back in focus across the country. As Team Canada looks ahead to the future of the sport, there remains questions about what happens when competitive athletes step away. Our reporter, Quinlan Curry, has the story.
Canada's Olympic Committee has just released a new 10-year plan focused on strengthening sport pathways from early development to podium performance. But while much of that attention is on building athletes up, far less is said about what happens at the other end of that pathway when competitive sport ends. Not because of injury or failure, but because seasons wrap up and athletes age out. For many former competitors, that moment comes with a sudden loss of routine, identity, and built-in support systems that shape their daily lives for years. As conversations around mental health continue, athletes are questioning whether Canada's evolving sports system is doing enough to support people not just on the way up, but on the way out. Quinlan Curry, BCIT News.
The weather is currently cloudy and 12 degrees in Vancouver, and those have been your 3:30 news and sports headlines. I'm your host, Caleb Bassey Templeton, and come join me again for sports headlines tomorrow at 10:30.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
I would recommend this program for anyone that isn't sure what kind of job they want in media, because you learn everything from like public relations to communications to video editing, like radio, TV. So you do get a lot of experience in all the different fields in media.